and I have to resort to begging.
Right.
You wouldn't be sitting. Nobody would be sitting around talking about how great life is. They're like, you got a fucked up life.
Right. So true.
But you're doing
so
the same thing to the ancestors. You're doing the same thing with the ancestors, with these gods. Ganesha, give me something. Lama Dama, help me. I'm a light. Oshun, bless me. I mean, I could go back to old shit when I used to channel these motherfuckers and how they used to tell me how they hate you. A lot of these niggas, a lot of these spirits wasn't human. They don't even sympathize when you ask them for rent. My rent's due. My nephew's in jail. They don't give a fuck. They don't know what that is. They don't know what that is, and half of them can't even see your light because you haven't even put yourself on the same light frequency with them because you're bogged down in human thoughts, which is mud. They can't even get to you because of the mud. It's like looking at 1,000 ants, and you picking that one as the ant, asking you to help his rent. It doesn't make any sense. If that ant knew how to paint himself red in a sea of black ants, it'll be a different story. What does that mean? That means because you do certain spiritual work as a conscious person to gain light, before these spirits actually even talk to you, they have to see your light. Without light, you're dead. That's why they look at you like you're dead. That's why none of that. That's why all this shit is happening to niggas, because they're dead. These spirits cannot penetrate this matter easily. Get what I'm saying?
Right.
They can't penetrate it easily. You have to put yourself up there, and you cannot put yourself up there talking about Taurus Tuesdays, Pisces Wednesday. You can't do it because that's a way of admitting that you need this stellar thing to guide you, because you cannot do it yourself. You cannot do it. Moon phases. I don't even fuck with them shits no more. I factor them in. Oh, it's a full moon, that'll work. But I'm going to make it work without the fucking moon. That's your job. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
That's your job. And that's a known study. That's not really, that's all in the chaos magic shit.
Right.
So chaos magic is getting out of circular patterns. You know what I'm saying? Now, well, linear versus, it wasn't a celebration. Linear is worse. We knew these things went in circular patterns, but we only did that to measure what was coming around the corner. All right, winter solstice, summer solstice. So we know to do this, that, and that. To contact ancestors and spirits to ask for shit. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
To ask for shit. You get what I'm saying? So we understood that pattern, so we think that's better, but you're still going in a circle. If you think I'm bullshit, spin around right now and see how far you get. Stand up and spin around and tell me how deep it is. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Tell me how deep you feel. So, not trying to make it should you not study it? Should you throw it away? No, study it, but study it with the concept of overcoming it or mastering it. That's why it becomes make it your disciple. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Don't be a slave to it. Make it your disciple. Become the middle point. So, without, trying to shit on nobody's study. It's not about shitting on nobody's study. Just show me where I'm wrong. You get what I'm saying? Show me where, doesn't it just make sense?
Yes.
You know what I mean? It just makes sense to me. Like, it just makes sense. Like, you don't even have to go deep and crazy. It just makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It makes sense. So it talks about in Gnosticism that these aeons also helped the demiurge. These aeons helped the demiurge. So I know master astrologers. Will Brabham is a master astrologer. We shared this information before. But say he masters it, and he'll be one of the ones to tell you. Now you don't really have to be a bitch to it. That's what it's doing.
Right.
But we there to see what this motherfucker's doing. You get what I'm saying? Oh, that's how you gonna act in Mercury retrograde? I factor it in and I overcome it. I'm not gonna stop sending emails and not walking out my door because Mercury's in fucking retrograde.
Right.
If anything, I'm gonna factor in why y'all motherfuckers is acting fucking ridiculous. More than myself. Like, oh, that's why you ain't got it right, because you still dealing with that bullshit. Mercury in retrograde. Yeah, is it real? Yes, of course it's real. That's what we decoded it. See, that's the whole thing with being a code breaker or a decoder. That's what the Egyptians were. God damn it, they called it the mystery system.
Right.
And what they were doing was uncovering mysteries.
Yes.
The mysteries of the Zodiac. Okay, so now we're celebrating these mysteries as victories. Yeah, they're victories that we decoded these mysteries.
Not
they're
to
victories
come back.
that we...
I was going to say not to come back to be a slave to it, to go back to the middle.
Right.
Right.
Right. To see, how do you decode the mystery that say, okay, now I'm going to be a victim of the mystery?
Right.
How do I decode, how do you figure out everything about Pisces and say, now I'm going to submit to it? Huh? Where'd you get that from, Bubby? Now I'm going to submit to it. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, it's really not about that. It's really about, and all of this stuff is about mastering this reality, mastering this realm, and moving on. Earth is a school. Isn't that what you do in high school? Every lesson that comes down the pipe, you're supposed to master it, get an A, and move to the next level. You're not supposed to sit there and fucking admire your fucking 4 times tables. I just admire the 4 times tables. 4 times 7 is 28. Oh, that's so deep. Oh yeah, 4 times 7 is in retrograde. Oh, I can't send an email. That's fucking crazy. It's crazy. So I'll say, well, I mean, you know, what I personally found was the books aren't enough. The books are a good start for the foundation, but you're going to have to go into your mind. And you have to, and I talked about this knowledge, when you have no agenda, what it does is actually it feeds your heart. That's what you're supposed to be feeding when you get into this conscious information. Most people start feeding their brain. When you feed your brain, it just feeds the ego, and you have a lot of snappy shit to say. This is in conjunct, that quarter side that comes back, that falls in fixation with Uranus and Neptune. Is what the fuck? What the fuck does that mean? Does that mean no more Doritos? What the fuck? You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know, it's this logical thing. So when you actually feed the wrong part of yourself, you actually get what you call ego poison, or lost. You just get lost in the maze. So your brain represents the labyrinth. Your brain represents the maze with the cheese in the middle. Of course, the cheese being the pineal. Pan, in Pan's labyrinth, Pan is the pineal. Pan is pine tree. You know, if you take out the vowels, PN, that's Pan. And it represents the pineal. The information is supposed to go through the heart and then be raised up through the heart to what you call the pineal, maybe hypothalamus, and pituitary, those particular jewels. Now, the brain is the ego, and you get lost in the maze if you feed that. So the books actually satisfy the brain, if you will, or the intellect.
Yes.
But then ultimately you're going to have to go deeper in yourself.
Right.
You're going to have to go into yourself to come to your own realizations. And I don't think we're going to get to any more Gnostic quotes, but we're doing good like this.
Yes, we are.
Talking about it.
Yeah, I think this is really necessary for you to go there, because knowledge.
Yeah, to elaborate.
Yeah, knowledge.
Yeah, good. I mean, yeah, people could. I'm sorry for cutting you off. People could read this shit themselves. What the fuck I'm reading to you? I read to you for 2 hours already. So fuck that. We could just chat. We could just elaborate at this point.
Right. Because, you know, knowledge does not bring about transformation. I remember when Lone Mono Duquette was on the show, and he said knowledge can only take you so far. And then that's when you really, you know, like you said, and many others, Brother Bobby and so many, you have to begin to sort of go within. And that's when the alchemy really goes into action, where you have to begin to put these things into application and really see what they mean to you, because what it means to one person may not mean the same thing to me. So knowledge, we can sort of come to that place of understanding. But then what happens once you get satisfied that, like you said, or you get to the point where, what are you going to do now? You got to do something.
Well, it's called Know Thyself, not Know Thy Facebook quotes. Knowledge, and I'll get to it now, what Lon Marlowe Duquette said was just a basic understanding. In fact, a basic occult understanding. In fact, if you go back on the Underground Railroad, documented already, I said the same exact thing. The intellect or the knowledge is the floor, the ground.
Right.
And once you start getting into your own mind, going into yourself, you then start, whatever you bring down from the ethers, if you will, you are grounded in the understanding. So the earth understanding becomes the intellect of the brain. You need to satisfy that. You can't just look away. Now, knowledge would be sperm. Sperm alone holds the genetic code in it, but it needs to incubate.
Right.
So wisdom is the incubation period. So that's the pregnancy. You get pregnant with knowledge, and then it incubates in wisdom. Understanding is the baby. 5% has said it. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Man,
Right.
woman, and child.
Yes.
That trinity.